and had nothing. He went from making $8,000 a month renting out his property to nothing. And that is the property I was talking about that is now vacant. Nothing, just empty, an empty brick facade.
All right. You've been in the middle of this. I mean, you've gotten to know this couple. So first of all, again, I keep going back to the cost of this. Not just the dollars and cents, not just what you guys in suits and ties sit back in some conference room and argue back and forth, but talk to me a little bit about the human cost of this.
Oh, the human cost, you see it right here. You can't shake it from your mind. As much as you try to tell a client, as much as you try to be there for a person, you can't step in their shoes and take this thing on completely from them, because it envelops their life night and day. No matter what the strategies, no matter what your legal issues are, it's entirely difficult.
Your clients here,
right.
You know, up until 2 years ago, there they are building the American dream, building a small business, building their home, rescuing dogs on their property. I've gotten to know them. And in the last 2 years, this has been the issue night and day, protecting their slice of the American pie.
How do you answer the question, Bob, how did they do this? How can they do this to us? How do you answer that question? The answer is, well, the law says this or the law says that. That doesn't amount to a hill of beans to real people. And the issue is, you have to frame it that way. You have to frame it from my perspective, from a legal argument, but that doesn't help people get through the situation, doesn't help people get through their lives. You hope to approach something that makes them whole, but as you heard, you're never going to make them whole.
The hard thing, too, Galen was talking about how we don't know what's going to happen to this property down the road. Let's assume RTD holds onto the property for 10 years, and then they sell it to a developer. What recourse do they have? And that's really where I think we need to be looking in terms of accountability, is to make sure the agencies are held accountable.
Let me just see if I heard what you said. You're saying that there could be an element of land speculation here. You know, government's going to be around for a long time. They can grab this land, hold on to it for a long time, and then say, you know, this is a valuable bit of property, and we're going to sell it for profit. Now, Galen, I'm sure this has never entered your mind. The idea that maybe that slice of property you've built your life on, in 10 years, depending on the economy, depending on that area, could be worth a fair amount of money. Is RTD going to compensate you for what it could be worth 10, 20 years from now, when maybe you're looking to retire and cash it in?
What do you think?
No, you tell me. Give me the story. Give me the human story.
Absolutely not.
There's no way.
We can't profit on anything down the road in the future of what that property will bring once we've been involved and you know, been eminent domain.
So Bob, do I understand this? RTD can give them what it's worth now. I don't know how you value this, because again, it's something so very unique. But the lost opportunity of the growth of their assets. This is why Americans want to own their homes, because they want to see their equity go up. So the loss in equity,
you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get the upside or the loss of opportunity. It's not compensable. Now, you've got to remember, you're entitled to get compensation for what's taken, but the crux of this case is, how do you relocate these people? How do you reestablish both a home and a business? That expense goes far and beyond what fair market value of the property is, and that's the biggest issue here. And it took us nearly 2 years to get RTD to realize it was all about attempting to make these people whole, trying to get them back on their feet in terms of a business and a home, and that took nearly 2 years just to get one person to understand that that was the issue and that people weren't just fighting for the sake of fighting.
I imagine right now you're in that spot of shopping around means you have a choice. You don't have a choice of trying to find a new home, a new business, a new place where you guys have been able to build your lives for 25 years. How's that search going?
Not well. They can't replace, and they've admitted they can't replace what Kim and I have there anywhere. They could look in a 5-state radius of Colorado, and they said they couldn't replace it. So what we're going to have to wind up doing is splitting our business and home up now, and build a home somewhere other than being at the business, and trying to find a place that's got the exposure we've got, and I don't think that's going to happen.
So right now, you walk from your shop where you do the window tending on cars. You can go in and feed the dogs that you rescue. You can be with your lovely wife.
And she takes cookies to protesters when they come out.
And she takes cookies to protesters. So you'll never, at this point, it's impossible to find a place where you can work and live. But what's so amazing about transit-oriented development is this promise that people will be able to live and work in the same place, but you, Galen, won't be able to.
It doesn't get any greener than what Kim and I have there, John. We get out of bed in the morning. We hit the shower. We eat our breakfast in the kitchen. On our way out to the garage, it's 10 feet away, and we go to work.
And then we go to a green job, which is window tinting.
Yeah. All we use is soap and water. No chemicals, none.
And I think that really exemplifies the fact that this is not a partisan issue. Traditionally, I think Republicans have supported the idea of property rights, and Democrats have sort of bought into this idea of redevelopment or the greening of America. But what you see is that there is no ideology when it comes to your home. And this is at the core of what it means to be American.
So in order to get people to work and live at the same place, we need to remove people from their castles for 25 years where they work and live. How are you going to create the same customer loyalty that you have now? You've got a spot on a busy corner, and I mean, what a beautiful thing that you have. I mean, a lot of people would hate to live on a busy corner, but this works for you. Are you going to be able to find any place like that where you'll be able to build a living the way you've built a living over the last quarter century?
I don't think so. No. Kim and I live on a corner where the action is, and they want our action. We do. We live on a corner where there's always something going on. And Kim and I have gotten used to that, and we like it.
We have boardwalk, and they want it.
Yeah.
And they're gonna take it.
Yeah.
I've got about a minute left. Bob Hoban, help me out. So, you've been in this process. You worked out a deal. It's been 2 years. I mean, and I've got to know these people. You know, I like these people. You like these people. What's the upshot? How? You got a settlement. You moved on. It's all taken care of, right?
Well, no. In this particular case, we're still working on moving. They're able to stay there until early spring of next year, and we've got some time to work these things out. I think the only upshot specifically is that RTD has finally decided that they're not going to focus. At least that's what they've told us. They're not going to focus on development. They're going to focus on transit. And if that's anything that we can take from this whole experience, I know it's a small piece, but it's something that they're going to be a little bit more careful about how they proceed. Because I'll tell you, this whole thing was planned around development, and it had nothing to do with transit.
You know, pardon me for being skeptical. Back in 1973, they promised to give us 100 miles of rail. That didn't come true. In 2004, they said they were going to do this on time and budget. They didn't keep that promise. Why do I have a feeling that in years to come, the promise that they won't use this for private development might not be there? I want to, Jessica, thank you, and Bob, thank you. But really, you are two of the most brave people I've met, and I am just so impressed with what you've done. Kim, Galen, thank you. Learn more. Check out the Property Rights Project at the Independence Institute, and tell somebody about this situation. We'll talk to you next week.
I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it off.